The storm outside was ruthless, slamming against the tall windows of the deserted library. I wasn't supposed to be here. Campus rules were clear. Midnight meant closed doors, dark halls, silence. Yet desperation had its own rules, and mine were written in failing grades and a scholarship hanging by a thread. My trembling fingers traced the ink on my half-written essay when a sharp sound made me freeze, footsteps echoing behind me. "Miss Evans!" The voice was smooth, low, commanding. My pen slipped from my hand as I turned, heart racing. There he was, Professor Adrian Cole, the man who terrified half the class and captivated the other half. His tailored suit was flawless, his eyes unreadable. And in the dim light he looked, less like a professor and more like a temptation wrapped in danger. "You do realize this library is closed after hours?" he said, his tone more curious than angry. I opened my mouth, but excuses tangled in my throat. He stepped closer, his presence suffocating, intoxicating. "You're failing my class," he continued. "And if you fail, you lose your scholarship, which means you lose everything you've been working for." My chest tightened. He wasn't wrong. The reality was brutal, and I had no defense. His eyes softened for a moment, then sharpened again, as though he'd made a decision. "There may be another way," he said slowly. I blinked. "Another way?" He leaned on the desk too close, his voice dropping so low it curled against my skin. "A deal. I'll save your grade, your scholarship, your future. But in return," he paused, letting the silence suffocate me, letting my imagination spiral. "In return, you'll give me what I want." The air left my lungs. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. What do you want?" I whispered, my voice shaking. His lips curved into a dangerous smirk, eyes locking onto mine like he already owned me. "You'll find out soon enough." My pulse thundered. Every instinct told me to run, but my body was frozen, caught in the trap of his gaze. I didn't know if he was about to ruin me or save me, maybe both. And the worst part? A part of me wanted to say yes. The next morning, I told myself it had been a dream, some twisted fantasy born out of stress and exhaustion. But when I walked into his lecture hall, the way Professor Cole's eyes locked on mine told me it was real. His gaze lingered, sharp, calculating, as if the rest of the class didn't exist. My stomach twisted, my palms damp against my notebook. After class, as students shuffled out, he spoke without looking away from his papers. "Miss Evans, stay." The word rolled through me like a command. I sat frozen while the room emptied, each tick of the clock louder than the last. When the door finally clicked shut, he looked up and the world seemed to still. "You want to pass," he said calmly, "and I want something only you can give." He stood, closing the distance between us until I could feel the faint warmth of his presence. "But before you misunderstand, know this. It won't be easy. Nothing worth having ever is." I swallowed hard. "I don't understand." He tilted his head, studying me as if weighing my soul. "You will. This deal isn't about cheating or shortcuts. It's about control, discipline, commitment." His eyes darkened, a storm brewing beneath the calm. "If you accept, your grades will no longer be your concern. I'll make sure of it. But in exchange, you'll follow my rules, without question." My breath hitched. Rules, control, his rules. The very idea was both terrifying and strangely magnetic. "And if I say no?" My voice trembled. "Then you fail." His answer was sharp, merciless. "You lose your scholarship. You lose your chance at the future you claim you want." Silence stretched between us, heavy and suffocating. I could hear my own heartbeat, frantic and desperate. The choice felt like a trap, freedom with nothing or captivity with everything. He leaned closer, his lips brushing the edge of my ear as he whispered, "Think carefully, Miss Evans. Once you step into my world, there is no going back." A shiver ran down my spine, my body betraying me with a spark of curiosity, of something darker I couldn't name. I should have walked away. I should have said no. But when his hand brushed the back of my chair, steady and possessive, all I could whisper was, "Yes." His smile was slow, dangerous, victorious. "Good girl. Then the deal begins now." The deal changed everything. Suddenly, I wasn't just another student slipping through the cracks of his class. I was his. Not in ways anyone could see. Not yet, but in the way his gaze followed me across the lecture hall, in the way his voice softened when no one else was listening, in the way his hand brushed mine for a second too long when he handed back a paper with a grade higher than I deserved. It was dangerous. Every stolen glance, every moment too close, every text that came at midnight with instructions. I wasn't supposed to follow, but did anyway. He told me what to wear to class, where to sit, how to carry myself, and I obeyed. Even when my stomach twisted with fear of being caught. The whispers started almost immediately. Classmates noticed the sudden shift in my grades, the way I avoided questions, the heat that rushed to my face every time his name came up. Rumors circled like sharks, and every time I thought someone had figured us out, my chest tightened with panic. But then his voice would steady me, his touch would ground me, and I'd fall deeper into the trap I swore I'd escape. The worst part was how he got under my skin. I'd gone into this deal thinking it was about survival, about saving my scholarship, my future. But late at night, when his words replayed in my mind, when my phone lit up with his messages that felt more like confessions than commands, I knew it wasn't just survival anymore. I was addicted to the danger, to him. One night, as I met him in his office, the door locked behind us with a sharp click that echoed through the empty halls. He stood close, his eyes searching mine. Not like a professor studying a student, but like a man daring me to break. "You understand what this means, don't you?" he asked, his voice low, almost fragile. "If anyone finds out, we both lose everything." My heart raced as I whispered back, "Then why can't I stay away?" His hand cupped my jaw, firm and trembling at the same time. "Because you were mine the moment you said yes." And in that moment, I realized the truth. I wasn't just risking my future anymore. I was risking my heart.